The end of book 2, Japara, Australian Aborigine. While I struggled to come to terms with my thoughts in the woods, I saw a figure frightening to look at, given my new discovery. So different was he from all that I had known and been. A naked man out of an ancient time, primordial, older than the caves, of black and muddy complexion, holding a spear covered with white stripes and dots painted all over his body. Bristly, woolly hair, staring at me as I tried to recover from my shock of horror. Desperate to judge his intent. Headhunter? An ancient shaman from an ancient land? I mulled over Black Elk's words. Drawing near, he spoke as out of a dream. The poets on the moon have sent me to lead you on. Out of the dreaming, I am Japara, moon man, my face scarred like the moon at night. And I have come to tell you the story of our bands, on the land from every wind. Do not fear, I have come to take you there. Gently he walked toward me like a hunter toward a skittish deer, saying, hold my arm firmly and we shall go from here. Stunned by the appearance of the man, I scarce knew what to do, but could not stay there thinking of the bones, such horror, while this guide seemed mild though primordial. I awoke from my fear, his demeanor winning me over despite my daze and thoughts as I slowly moved towards him, grasped his wrist. Before I knew it, we were ascending that ancient forest and cave far below. I barely could look at him as we flew for fear that fear would cause me to let go. His dark and ancient visage so unknown. In a vortex, time swirled, carrying us along, I and my new companion, and then I noticed from that great height, the ocean seemed to be lower, continents nearly covered in ice as we passed from the hemisphere, his outstretched spear steering. Much land and sea swept by, while at times campfires below and ants here and there. After a long while over water, I saw ahead an enormous island, brown and reddish, even from that great height. I wanted to ask him where on such a vast continent we were going, when suddenly it became clear he was heading for its center. Dry and red, a desert, so it seemed. Other deserts came to mind that I had known. We go to where the dreaming can be told, he said, leaving me still wondering where that might be and what it was. Over land we flew, a few rivers, some dry beds that snaked their way across both lush and withered land, lowering towards the ground, small groups of people here and there, a mere handful clinging to life, scattered across the vast expanse. Even further towards the center, in the distance, a looming mountain, an enormous red rock abruptly rising from the land, unlike anything around it. More at ease, I looked at Japara, asked him with my eyes, an annoying tourist. He explained, Uluru, but we go beyond into the dreaming. And soon it lay behind, out of sight, as we sped forward somewhere. We were nearly touching the treetops and brush mostly, if not scrub. Ahead, a band of people, women cooking over a fire, children ran about, some sat in a circle next to a lean-to, tending to some handicraft or task. Suddenly we were seen and a stir went up, with Japara waving his spear, shouting in a tongue I could not understand. Lightly we sat down not far from them, the desert dust rising slightly around us, as we found our footing on earth again. Gesturing towards me as he spoke, Japara seemed to be introducing me to the clan, many of whom eyed me apprehensively as a stranger dropped from above. I now could understand Japara as he greeted them in his native tongue. This is the shaman I told you about from the moon, from everywhere, where the people have forgotten the dreaming, the sacred we experience and live in. He must learn and tell the tale once again. A thrill went through me at his words. Hope rising that he might know better than I myself, so weak and given to despair. Addressing all the clan, he said, tonight the golden ring forms around the moon and Kulama, ceremony of renewal, prepare. Japara led me away to a lean-to by a gum tree where I fell into a deep sleep, dreams of oblivion, all that I had been through flowing through my mind. When I awoke, it seemed I had slept long and late into the day, for the sun was already near noon, and women and children were busying about, tending to one duty or another, preparing yams for the evening feast. The men were gone. In a time before time, I arose from the lean-to, which was shielding me from the sun, looking about, and saw Japara and a hunting group of men, giving the game to the women as they passed. Japara greeted me from a distance. We have had a good hunt while you dreamed. The women will prepare the food. Come with me and men where we can properly tell you the stories, several of them behind him. Still amazed at the sight of me as I had them. We see different beings from different galaxies. Japara led me away from the camp and into the desert behind the lean-to, and away from most of the women with only a few following behind us. At a clear place of desert sand free of brush, where a circle and fire pit had been dug, not far from caves and a lake, Japara made a sign and we all sat in the circle. A short silence fell upon us. No one moved. One of the women, Mimbarda, began to speak, sweeping the sand smooth and level with a stick, drawing two men in the sand. I felt that something of great importance was about to be told. All were silent. In the beginning, Jindu, the creator, sent two wise men to shape the earth from the far end of the Milky Way, which she drew in the sand above the men. They shaped the sea, the earth and sky, and then Jindu sent 7 sisters, stars of the Milky Way, the Pleiades, to beautify the earth with flowers and trees, birds and animals, every creeping thing, drawing the 7 sisters near the men. Younger men and women now joined the outside of our circle. Mimbarda continued without any sense of interruption. While they worked, one of the younger sisters fell in love with the 2 wise men following them into the bush one day. Dharma, the Great Spirit, had warned them that if such a thing happened, they could not return to the Milky Way. So while the one woman had to stay, the others rose to the stars, and the 2 spirit men remained behind and became human. Like us, losing their special powers, feeling longing for their home. They became parents of the earth who made laws and ceremonies, the parents of people, the desert people, and all our bands, Tugi and Warlpiri, Nanda and Ola, Kokoara, Tiwi, Yongu, Arunta, Bartanji, Buchula, Targari, Dangu and Iwaman, Gari Inkura, Rembarunga, Nakara, Maya Kalali, Ponga Ponga, Alawa, Jandruwanta, and Aravana. Bands of many names, man and woman. People spread throughout the bush, all directions, many tongues and kinship from our parents. The sun moved deeper into the afternoon. O desert people, O stranger from afar, 400 bands and more spread over the land. This is why we have knowledge and respect for the universe. Drawing a mountain. The great spirit Jindu and Guru Dari, Guthi Guthi, Dharma, the spirit of many names, Yuen Monaro. He came down from the sky and saw that there was no water that could be seen. So from Mount Monara, he called Wiawi, the rainbow serpent in the mountain. Guthi Guthi called, Wiawi, Wiawi! And the water serpent came out, traveled over the land, making watering holes, streams, billabongs, and lakes throughout the land. As Mimbarda continued to recite the dreaming into the night, more villagers joined us, widening the circle, and later the circle revolved like the stars above. Dancing, singing, and chanting, drums and didgeridoos, sonorously lifting the hearts of all, swirling circles, dots on the faces around me, circles in the sand, twirling time, dream time, everywhere, now. A young couple had disappeared together. The women began to remove the yams from the fire, unearthing them, people eating, here and there a circle of people, sharing sustenance of life. The glow of the fire lit the surrounding darkness, night sky. As people watched, Japara with his spear quietly motioned me aside and then into the desert bush where he said, "It is time that we return to our home, the moon, where you have more to learn and know." He held out his arm to me, and with all fear long gone, I understood, taking hold of my brother's wrist. Through the dreaming we soared, rising in the night, the glowing circle down below fading smaller, while the brilliant moon loomed larger as we flew heavenward. Moon man and moon man, homeward bound.